Have you ever wondered why, even when following what seems like a healthy diet, your body doesn't respond like it used to? Imagine if I told you that right now, inside your body, a silent war might be raging, draining your energy, weakening your muscles, and jeopardizing your overall health. I'm talking about chronic inflammation, a process that affects a significant portion of Americans over 60, but most don't even know they have it. What's even more alarming? Recent studies show this silent inflammation could be reducing your life expectancy by up to 12 years. And the worst part, many of the so-called healthy foods you consume daily may be fueling this inflammatory process instead of fighting it. But today, I'm going to reveal some completely change your life. 9 foods, simple, accessible, and incredibly powerful, that have the potential to reverse this inflammation, restore your energy, and strengthen your muscles naturally. And one of them in particular is so potent that a single spoonful a day can do more for your health than many modern medicines. I'm Dr. Alexander King, a specialist in functional medicine and your guide to a life with more energy and less pain. Before I introduce the 9 miracle foods, we need to understand exactly what we're fighting. Inflammation is actually a natural defense mechanism of our body. When you get a cut or an injury, that redness and swelling are signs that your body is working to heal the affected area. The problem arises when this inflammation, which should be temporary, becomes chronic, that is, permanent. It's as if your body's alarm system is constantly on, even when there's no real danger. And this has devastating consequences for your health. Studies conducted by Harvard University have shown that chronic inflammation is directly linked to muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, especially in people over 60. This explains why you may feel weaker and less energetic, even while maintaining your usual activities. In addition, this silent inflammation affects energy production in cells, compromising the mitochondria, the power plants of our body. The result? That constant feeling of fatigue even after a good night's sleep. I'm going to share something I often see in my practice. Mary, a 67-year-old patient, came to me complaining of extreme fatigue. Doctor, I eat well, I walk 3 times, but even so, I feel like I've climbed Mount Everest just doing household. After detailed tests, we discovered elevated levels of inflammatory markers in her blood, especially C-reactive protein, a clear indicator of chronic inflammation. And what was causing this inflammation? Here's the crucial point. Many of the foods we consider healthy may actually be fueling this inflammatory process. Processed foods with diet or zero labels, refined foods, and even some types of fruits with high sugar content may be contributing to this silent war inside. Have you ever noticed how you feel after consuming certain foods? That feeling of heaviness, sluggishness, or even joint pain that arises a few hours later? These are signs your body is giving that something. And what about your usual breakfast? Is it nourishing or inflaming your body? That's an important question to ask. Now let's get to what really matters. The foods that can reverse this inflammatory process and restore your vitality. I'll start by presenting the first 4 on this incredible list. Turmeric, the undisputed star in the fight against inflammation. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin, which has anti-inflammatory properties as potent as some medications without the negative side effects. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food showed that curcumin can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 60% in just 8 weeks of regular consumption. What's fascinating about turmeric is that it acts on multiple levels of the inflammatory process, blocking the signaling pathways that activate inflammation. This means it not only relieves symptoms, but attacks them. To incorporate it into your routine, try adding a teaspoon of turmeric to your rice, soups, or even your morning coffee. Important, always add a pinch of black pepper, as it increases the body's absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. I have a patient, Carl, 72, who suffered from debilitating joint pain due to rheumatoid arthritis, a chronic inflammatory condition. After 3 months of consuming turmeric daily in a simple mixture with black pepper and a little olive oil, he was able to reduce his medication by half, the approval of his rheumatologist. "It's like someone replaced my joints," he told me last consultation, with a smile I hadn't seen in years. Have you ever tried including turmeric in your meals? How do you usually consume this powerful spice? Salmon and other fish rich in omega-3. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA found in fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and tuna, are potent natural anti-inflammatories. They work by inhibiting the production of messenger molecules that trigger inflammation, such as cytokines and prostaglandins. A study conducted by the University of California demonstrated that people who consumed fish rich in omega-3 at least twice a week had levels of inflammatory markers 33% lower than those who rarely consumed these foods. In addition, omega-3 helps preserve muscle mass, directly combating the sarcopenia I mentioned earlier. This means more strength and energy for your daily activities. If you're not a fan of fish, consider alternatives such as high-quality fish oil supplements, always with medical advice. Another option is chia and flaxseed, which contain a different type of omega-3, ALA, which our body can partially convert into EPA and DHA. How many times a week do you include fish in your diet? Do you feel a difference in your energy levels when you consume these foods regularly? Extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is much more than just a cooking oil. It's a true natural medicine. Rich in monounsaturated fats and polyphenols, it has a compound called oleocanthal that has anti-inflammatory effects similar to ibuprofen, but without the side effects. A study published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences revealed that regular consumption of extra virgin olive oil reduces levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, an important marker of inflammation in the blood. Here's a valuable tip. To get the maximum anti-inflammatory benefits from olive oil, it should be consumed raw, avoiding high temperatures that can destroy its beneficial compound. Try drizzling it on your salads, adding it to a finished dish, or even consuming a spoonful on an empty stomach in the morning. And be careful, not all olive oil is created equal. Be sure to choose a genuine extra virgin olive oil, preferably in dark bottles, to protect its nutrients from light. Mrs. Cecilia, a 75-year-old patient, had high cholesterol levels and blood pressure issues. After incorporating 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily into her diet, her tests showed a significant reduction in inflammatory markers and improvement in good cholesterol, HDL levels, in just 3. Do you usually use olive oil regularly? How do you use it in your daily diet? Nuts. Nuts like walnuts, almonds, pecans, and other nuts are true packages of anti-inflammatory nutrients. Rich in healthy fats, antioxidants, and minerals like selenium and magnesium, they help neutralize free radicals that cause cellular inflammation. A study conducted by the University of Pennsylvania followed people who consumed a daily serving of nuts, about 1 ounce, and found that after just 6 weeks there was a significant reduction in levels of several inflammatory molecules in the blood. What's amazing about nuts is that they also contain L-arginine, an amino acid that converts to nitric oxide in the body, improving blood circulation and, consequently, the delivery of nutrients and oxygen to the muscles. This means more energy and better recovery after physical activities. However, it's important to remember that despite being healthy, they are high-calorie foods. A serving of about a tablespoon a day is enough to get the anti-inflammatory benefits. A tip: always prefer raw or dry-roasted versions without salt. Salted or candied versions may contain additives that promote rather than combat inflammation. Do you usually consume nuts regularly? Which is your favorite, and how do you incorporate it into your diet? Now that we know the first 4 anti-inflammatory foods, let's continue our journey by discovering the remaining 5 on this powerful list. Berries: strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry. Red and purple berries contain compounds called anthocyanins, which, in addition to giving the characteristic color to them, are potent anti-inflammatories. They help turn off specific genes that promote inflammation in the body. Blueberries, in particular, are a true nutritional gem. A study from the University of Michigan showed that Regular consumption of blueberries significantly reduced levels of inflammatory cytokines in people with metabolic syndrome. In addition to fighting inflammation, berries are rich in vitamin C and antioxidants that protect your cells against oxidative damage, one of the main accelerators of aging. They also contain soluble fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria in the gut, strengthening your immune system. A delicious way to consume berries is to add them to your plain yogurt or prepare a smoothie with plant-based milk. Even frozen, they retain most of their anti-inflammatory properties. Mr. Anthony, a 68-year-old patient with a history of gout, a painful inflammatory condition, began consuming a small portion of berries every day as a dessert. In less than 2 months, he observed a significant reduction in the frequency and intensity of his flare-ups, something that surprised him positively. Do you make it a habit to consume berries? What is your favorite fruit in this group, and how do you prefer to consume it? Ginger. Ginger is a powerful ally in the fight against inflammation. Thanks to gingerols, bioactive compounds with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant property. Studies conducted by the University of Miami have shown that regular consumption of ginger can reduce muscle and joint pain by up to 25% in people with arthritis. In addition to reducing inflammation, ginger improves digestion and increases the absorption of nutrients, key aspects for seeking more energy and vitality. It also stimulates blood circulation, promoting better oxygenation of tissues. A simple way to incorporate ginger into your day is to prepare a tea. Just boil a slice of fresh ginger in water for about 10 minutes. Add a little lemon and honey if desired. Another option is to add grated ginger to your culinary preparations or even in juices. Mrs. Margaret, 73, suffered from joint pain that prevented her from taking her morning walk. After starting to drink ginger tea daily, she noticed a gradual improvement in her mobility and, in her words, a feeling of lightness that I haven't felt in years. Research from the University of Nottingham has demonstrated that regular consumption of garlic significantly reduces levels of inflammatory markers in the blood, in addition to strengthening the immune system and improving cardiovascular health. An important tip: to get the maximum anti-inflammatory benefits from garlic, crush or finely chop it, and let it rest for about 10 minutes before adding it to heat. This allows the garlic's enzymes to form more potent bioactive compounds. The consumption of garlic is also associated with better glucose metabolism, which means more stable blood sugar levels and, consequently, more constant energy throughout the day. Mr. Joseph, a 70-year-old patient with high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol, incorporated 2 cloves of garlic daily into his diet. After 4 months, not only had his inflammatory markers decreased, but his blood pressure was also more controlled, allowing, with medical supervision, the reduction of his medication. Do you usually use garlic in your preparations? Have you noticed any difference in your energy levels or health when you consume garlic regularly? Broccoli and cruciferous vegetables. In addition, these vegetables are rich in prebiotic fibers that feed the beneficial bacteria in the gut, strengthening the immune system and reducing systemic inflammation. Recent research has shown a strong connection between gut health and inflammation levels throughout the body. To maximize the anti-inflammatory benefits of cruciferous vegetables, lightly steam them instead of boiling them. Overcooking can destroy some of their bioactive compounds. Mrs. Helen, 65, suffered from constant bloating and abdominal pain. After incorporating a daily serving of cruciferous vegetables into her diet, she reported a significant improvement in digestive discomfort and, surprisingly, also in the joint pain that had bothered her for years. How do you usually prepare your vegetables? Do you include broccoli or other cruciferous vegetables regularly in your meals? Green tea. Finally, we come to the 9th food on our list, green tea. Rich in catechins, especially EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, green tea has exceptional anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Research conducted by the University of Maryland showed that regular consumption of green tea reduces levels of TNF-alpha, an inflammatory cytokine associated with various age-related. Green tea also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes a state of relaxed alertness, improving cognitive function without the stimulating side effects of excessive caffeine. This means stable energy and preserved mental capacity. To get the maximum benefits, I recommend consuming 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily. A tip: let the tea steep for about 3 minutes, no more than that, to avoid excessive bitterness. The story of Mr. Peter, a 78-year-old patient, is remarkable. He suffered from chronic fatigue and difficulty starting to. In just 3 weeks, he reported a significant improvement in his energy. It's as if a fog had been lifted. Are you a green tea enthusiast? How often do you consume it, and have you noticed any difference in your energy levels? Now that we know the 9 anti-inflammatory foods, let's talk about how to incorporate them practically and deliciously into your day. The good news is that you don't have to consume them all daily. Consistency and variety are what's important. The first tip is to start gradually. Choose 2 or 3 foods from the list that you already enjoy or are curious to try, and start including them regularly in your meals. An effective strategy is to prepare what I call basic anti-inflammatory paste. Mix equal parts of turmeric, powdered ginger, and a little black pepper. Store in a jar and add a teaspoon of this mixture to soups, stews, rice, or even in juices and smoothies. Another suggestion is to create an anti-inflammatory day in the week where you consciously include most of these in your meals. For example, a story I always share is that of Mrs. Lourdes, an 81-year-old patient who began implementing what she called spoonfuls of health: a teaspoon of olive oil in the morning, a teaspoon of the turmeric and ginger mixture at lunch, and a tablespoon of berries as an afternoon snack. With this simple routine, in just 2 months she reported a significant improvement in her energy levels, less joint stiffness in the morning, and to her surprise, better sleep quality. Some of my patients initially resist the taste of certain foods, such as turmeric or green tea. If this is your case, start by adding small amounts in preparations that you already consume and enjoy. For example, add a little turmeric to tomato sauce or prepare a berry smoothie with a small amount of spinach. You won't even taste it. How do you think you could start incorporating these foods into your routine? Which of the 9 seems easiest or most appealing for you to start with? We've reached the end of this journey through the world of anti-inflammatory foods, and now it's time to reveal which one is considered the #1 natural anti-inflammatory. Although all 9 foods I presented are extremely beneficial, turmeric stands out for its active component, curcumin, which has been shown in scientific studies to have effects comparable to those of anti-inflammatory drugs without the negative side effects. A simple teaspoon of turmeric per day, always accompanied by a pinch of black pepper to improve its absorption, can be the first step towards a life with less inflammation, more energy, and greater muscle. Recapping what we learned today: chronic inflammation is a silent process that can be stealing your energy and strength, especially after age 60. Certain foods considered healthy may actually be promoting this inflammation. The 9 powerful anti-inflammatory foods that can transform your health are turmeric, fish, rich in omega-3, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, berries, ginger, garlic, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, and green tea. Consistency is more important than quantity. Small daily portions bring more benefits than sporadic consumption in large quantities. Starting with 2 or 3 of these foods can already make a significant difference in your health and energy levels. Remember that combating inflammation is not a sprint, but a marathon. The results will come gradually as these powerful foods work to restore the balance of. Think about it. With every spoonful of turmeric, every cup of green tea, every serving of salmon, you are investing in a future with more energy, less pain, and greater vitality. Isn't it wonderful to know that something as simple as adjusting your diet can have such a profound impact on your quality of life? I invite you now to make a commitment to yourself. Choose at least 3 of the foods I presented today and start incorporating them regularly into your routine. Jot down in a journal how you feel today and revisit those records after a month of consistent consumption. I'm sure the difference will surprise you. And if you enjoyed this information and want to receive more content on health, longevity, and natural well-being, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified of new videos. Share also with friends and family who may benefit from this information. After all, health knowledge is a gift that can transform lives. Always remember, your body is capable of an extraordinary recovery when it receives the correct nutrient. As I often say to my patients, nature created the problem, but it also created the solution. It is in our hands to take advantage of this wisdom. I'm Dr. Alexander King, and my mission is to help you rediscover your natural vitality. Until the next video,